Do you have a brilliant startup idea but are stuck in the launching phase? Are you feeling overwhelmed by funding, marketing, or just where to start? Don't let your startup idea stay grounded. Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
All right, welcome back to On the Cusp. Matt Snyder's back with me.
Thank you,
today.
Dave.
And introduce this guest.
Man, I am excited to have this guy, Briant Gracia, 318 Latina, doing huge things in the community. I met Briant for Catahoula Wine Mixer. We always break up into regions, and I was talking, and as around, I always liked having a DJ in Latin America. And so I was talking to somebody, I was like, oh, you gotta have this guy. He's awesome. And so I get him, and I expect a DJ. You know, most DJs are kind of loose. You gotta kind of manage it. I gotta go talk to him and be like, hey, look, like, I meet Briant, I'm like, man, this is like a business professional DJ. And Briant, from that point on, we started a relationship, and I started learning a little more about what they're doing in the community. And it's really just amazing. Yeah. So I wanted to bring you in. I think the Latina community, people do not understand what's happening in that community, in our community.
So what is 318 Latina?
So 318 Latino is a multimedia company dedicated to informing the Hispanic community about anything and everything that's going on, whether that be news, events, legal changes. Sometimes there's events where we are bringing the consulates. So the Mexican consulate, the Guatemalan consulate, they come here pretty often, and they help people get an identification.
The Mexican ambassador to the United States was just in Shreveport.
Absolutely.
Brian and I kind of teamed. I called him and I said, Brian, I'm working on a project. I need your help on it. On that.
A lot of people don't realize
jumped in. It was so cool.
So how big is that community? How many people are y'all reaching?
So it really depends. If you're looking at what the census says, you're looking at 5.5% in Shreveport, 8.2% in Bossier. However, we know not a lot of Hispanics always fill out the census. There's some stigma there between that community to fill out the census. Not only that, but a lot of that community is fairly recently moved in. So maybe they didn't make the last census. What we guesstimate, because I can't give you exact numbers other than the tools that we use to read how many users and readers and viewers we have, is about 28,000 Hispanics. Within the Northwest Louisiana region. That's about a 50-mile radius from Shreveport. However, it's much bigger once you put in our entire audience, where we go as far west as West Monroe, as far as east as West Monroe, as far west as Tyler, as far up as Little Rock, and as far down as Alexandria.
That's a pretty big area. But I understand what you're saying, because the census only does it by MSA. And we say that our MSA, if you include East Texas, South Arkansas, our MSA is much bigger, because we, Shreveport, are drawn from all those regions.
Absolutely. I can tell you this, if you start taking a look at what the school system looks like, there are certain schools in Bossier that actually have like an up to 17% Hispanic population. So that gives you a real feedback on, what that really looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, and what Briant and his mom are doing in this community is really incredible. And I think a lot of the things that we know of Taco Wars, Gregory's Taco Wars. I love Gregory. Give him all.
He's amazing.
That thing wouldn't be here without Briant and his team. I mean, the group that they put together to help in that, and how active y'all's group is so cool. So 318 Latina is the news outlet, is the magazine, the Facebook page to inform that community of things. Then your Heritage Association, tell me about that a little bit.
So yes, we've been doing events in the region throughout several years. We've done the Day of the Dead celebrations. We've done Noche de Gala. We've done little kids entrepreneurs seminars. We've done so many events throughout the years, and we try to figure out a way to make it, more unified, more organized. So last year we created the Hispanic Heritage Association of Northwest Louisiana, HHA for short. I know the name's long, but it really describes what we are and what we do and where we do it. Right.
Right.
And so even though we have been doing these events for well over a decade. I'd say maybe 15 years. The organization itself is fairly new, but it's the same people that has been working, with us ever since we started.
Right. It's really cool. And the cool thing, you're inviting people in. And like, I think was that the Day of the Dead festival down on the riverfront that I went to? What was that event?
So right in the riverfront, you mean by
right
the aquarium?
Right outside the aquarium? Yeah,
so
what was
the
that
aquarium
event?
was the Hispanic Heritage Festival.
That was unbelievable. And so Brian invites me to this festival. And I'm thinking, I'm going to swing by. This is going to be a little thing. I'm going to say hi to Brian and roll out of here. This was unbelievable. All the different food people set up. The entertainment was unbelievable. And the fact that I ended up knowing a lot of people there. And the fact that you're inviting people to come see that heritage and be a part of that culture.
Well, that's our main mission. We're building
huge.
bridges between our communities. So let's say this. I think by nature, every human, it kind of it's a little bit tribal, right? You stick to what you know, you stick with who you know. So Hispanics have one step further to be able to beat that, because a lot of them, come here and they also got to learn the language. So if they don't learn the language, they can't just stick with people who only speak what they know. So we kind of got to get them out of their comfort zone and be part of this community. I mean, you came here to this country, be a part of what we're doing. And same way, I want to invite the American community, the already established community here, to be a part of what we do.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways.
That is unbelievable, and I'm very involved in the community. I truly can tell you, I have not seen an organization or a group of people be more intentional about growing relationships across lines that are hard to draw relationships across than y'all. And it's really powerful and it's really noticeable. And I mean, I'm so thankful that you're doing it.
It's a God-given mission. I want to say, even though I get to be in the front lines a lot because I'm better, or not better, but I'm just not scared of the cameras.
Right.
But there's a whole team of people that do this. Obviously, my mom is, a pioneer. She started.
I feel like she should be on a throne somewhere.
Absolutely.
I mean, she's the queen. I mean, I love her. And then you and Maria.
Maria Elena Vargas.
Oh,
yes.
I have known her for a long time.
So she is the president of the HHA organization.
Okay, and I mean, y'all are such great representatives of the organization, and y'all cross lines so easily.
And we have to. It took me a long time, and I can tell you, there's an experience that I had when I came to the United States that really helped me be able to do this. It's the fact that when I came here, I was put into an ESL class where...
Now, you came to Shreveport?
Yes, sir.
So you came here. Did you speak English when you got here?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, when I was in Mexico, I was given the option to learn English classes, and I would skip, not knowing this would be my future, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I had no idea what was coming. Life's pretty weird. My mom used to sell computers in Mexico. She was a broker, and she sold to big companies, those organizations that needed thousands of computers at a time. She would sell them, so she would travel around the world. And in one of those, she met my stepdad, which is in the Air Force, and we ended up here.
So how old were you when you came here?
I was 9 years old.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And so...
so you're going into second or third grade.
I think I was going into middle school, because I started school early in Mexico.
Okay.
And they held me back a year because of my age, so they put me in 5th grade, and also to help me learn English. They put me in Creswell, which is, and one thing I'll note about that, a lot of Hispanic communities are growing in areas where ESL was offered to their children.
ESL, tell me what that is.
English as a second language.
Okay.
And that was Creswell, Richwood, and Shreveport, and then Bossier High in Bossier.
Okay.
And then also Berth High School. So a lot of those populations started growing around those areas at first.
I got you.
And then, I was put in a room where there was people from all over the world that didn't know a word in English. And
In a school in Shreveport, Louisiana.
In a school in Shreveport, Louisiana.
I wouldn't even realize that happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Like-
And I mean, it happens because of the Air Force Base as well. A lot of people move here because of the base, and their children, I had friends from Cambodia, Afghanistan, China. Some of them were from Colombia. Some of them were from Venezuela. And even though we spoke Spanish, we had different dialects, so I couldn't really communicate as well with them as I thought I would have.
One of my buddies that helps me on a project, we have a little company doing some turf stuff, and he has a degree from the University of Georgia in Spanish. And so he is amazing. But then we would go with different groups, and like he's like, oh man, they're talking from wherever. They're from Mexico. I don't know what anybody's saying.
So completely different dialects. Look, I'll give you an experience. Whenever we started doing the Guatemalan consulate, even though you would think they speak Spanish, they don't quite speak Spanish. So they have another native dialect that they use. So we actually at the Guatemalan consulate we started speaking English to communicate better.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, I mean it's very interesting how this population is growing, and we're just making sure. Like I'll tell you, Shreveport right now is working on its second generation. So a lot of people came in here during after Katrina.
I bet a lot of people don't realize that we're on our second Latino generation.
Absolutely, and they're just now graduating high school. So a lot of Hispanic, Latino U.S. born children that are bilingual, completely legal status are here, and they're just now entering the work market.
That's crazy interesting.
Yeah.
So
I think every school teaches Spanish now in Caddo-Bossier Parish.
I believe so.
I believe they do.
So, Briant, you come here in 5th grade, you don't speak any English, and you speak amazing English. So how long did this, this is just curiosity, but how long did this take?
Look, by the time I was in here 6 months, I had conversation in English. By the time I got into middle school, before I ended middle school, they took me out of ESL and put me in regular English classes. So just with the rest of the crowd. And then I was supposed to, I guess by default, go to Bird because of all the Hispanics went to Bird at the time, and it was within my school district as well. But I was looking for something different, and I actually ended up going to Captain Shreve because I wanted to take the AP Physics.
That's right.
Engineering.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
I'm a Gator. You knew you didn't want to go over there. I wouldn't blame you.
Right.
So did you go to college afterwards?
In I believe it was 2007, 2008, my mom started a magazine called Vida Latina Magazine. And I actually started helping her with that. This is actually how this all got started. She gave me a magazine, she gave me a computer, and she gave me a camera, and she told me I need to learn how to use this. And went from that to I need to learn how to design websites, I need to learn how to do video, I need to learn how to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And at a pretty young age, I started, doing graphic design and video and all that for other people. So no, I don't think I went to college right after high school. I started kind of working on my own, and eventually I took classes at BIPSI. But no, I haven't really gotten a degree. I just go and take classes whenever I see something interesting that I want to learn more about.
I think we talk about that a lot, and I'm not gonna ever bash college, but a lot of entrepreneurs, I will say this, they get into it and they get working and they learn, and if you're smart enough to go get the class when you need it,
right?
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
That's wise money.
That is, you or I probably don't need a chemistry class for $1,000 or whatever it would cost us. But that's right, and you're in the community so much. There's so much value in that. And for a guy like me, connecting with you, and I know you have a really deep relationship with Jeffrey Goodman, and I know how much he values what y'all do. I always say, and Dr. George says this, the good guys will find each other.
Yep.
And that's what, if somebody asked me about our relationship, it would be easily summed up with the good guys find each other.
Yeah.
So Brian, what's next for 318 Latino? What are y'all looking for or looking to do in the future?
Well, 318 Latino is expanding. A lot of our network is constantly growing. We're constantly looking at teaming up with other organizations. 318 Latino itself is just a media company. Like I said, all we do is reach people and tell them about what's going on, and we've become pretty good at doing that. The more the community grows, the more 318 Latino will grow. As far as the Hispanic Heritage Association, well, we've got plans to do more events throughout the year, and we're building more partnerships with other organizations. I know last year we got reached out by, this year, we got reached out by Mudbug Madness to do something. We got reached out by the Red River Rebel, which is why we ended up doing the Day of the Dead Festival within the Red River Rebel. And we're looking at doing some things with the Balloon Rally Festival next year. So we're constantly getting, it's not like we're always looking, but we're always getting some invite to work with certain people.
It's very interesting. You've got 24,000 people potentially that have not been targeted and have not been reached historically. And so every organization, every event guy is crazy if they're not coming to you saying, how do I get into your crowd? And that's good for the community.
Absolutely.
The Hispanic community needs to be invited in to do things more often, just like every community. We have to, Shreveport, one of our big things that we've got to get better at is not wanting to cross lines. To stay in it, I live in South Shreveport, I'm a South Shreveport white guy. I'm gonna stay in South Shreveport and be a South Shreveport white guy with other South Shreveport white guys. That isn't good for any of us. It's the same as I'm a West Shreveport black guy. I'm only gonna hang out with West Shreveport black guys. There is so much just good things, both for yourself, for your business, emotionally, everything, when you cross those lines. Those are some of my most fun conversations. Like Callie Combs, we were talking to, and I met her. Like, I love seeing those people because how much fun is it when every conversation you have in the community is all people that think exactly like you, and all their experiences are exactly like you, and it is so much fun to me to watch people like you, Brian, that are out taking a chance, that are changing our community. I think it's special. I want Dave to go down the job route with you because I think you're a very unique person to talk jobs with. Second generation or first generation new Americans.
Yeah, Matt and I, we always get into this big debate.
Okay.
Everybody, Matt and the gang, they want to put on events. They want to build culture. They say build culture first.
Right.
Okay? I say we got to build jobs. The more jobs we generate in Shreveport, there are plenty of money to go around for culture. Right? Where are you on that? Because you represent a large group that has its own unique culture. So what's more important to y'all, the jobs or having the events?
Well, they go hand in hand, to be honest with you. I don't think the Latino population is known for being hardworking and being able to go above and beyond when it comes to doing what they need to do for a living, right? We literally crossed borders to come and find better opportunities for our families. So first generation Hispanics, they come here, they find a good job they can stick with, they build roots, they buy a house, and then they start a family. Second generation Hispanics, what they're looking at mostly is trying to find a profession where they can go to school. Their parents want them to go to school. Their parents don't mind paying for university, college for their kids to go to school, so that they can find a good job, because that's really what this whole journey was about. They want their future generations to do better.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you can see, the Hispanic culture, the Hispanic community across the country, when I go to places, Texas is big. They love culture, and they have a lot of cultural things around that. So I think that community...
But they can rally around Texas, and Texas is, really was part of Mexico.
Right.
So they have that. We in Louisiana, we don't have that.
Brian is
Especially us
creating
in North
that.
Louisiana, we struggle with our identity. Are we part of South? Are we part of South Arkansas?
We're little Dallas.
Or are we really part of Dallas? Okay, we struggle with that.
Right.
Brian,
But I want to be us.
Me too.
Okay, which means, hey, okay, we got a strong Hispanic population here. That's part of us that had been here for 2+ generations.
Yeah.
That are an important part of our community.
I want to go to this thing on the jobs because I think you can speak on it.
All right.
You have a community that has new people influx into it often. How hard is it for those people to find a job in Shreveport, Louisiana?
Not very hard. All right. Most of the people that come here, specifically to Shreveport, Louisiana, they came here because they already had something lined up. All right. They already had an opportunity. I don't think you go somewhere without really thinking about what you're doing. Either you know a friend or you have a family member that already owns a company. And by the way, that is why Hispanics are entrepreneurs. It's because a lot of people, because of legal status or whatever it may be, they don't want to hire. So what do? We find the way. I mean, we already know the trade. Why don't we start off on our own, get an ITIN number, get a license for certain things, and you're able to work and you're able to hire others, and so you do your thing.
That's awesome. So are you part of groups that help people get those things like the IEN number and all that?
So we don't do it ourselves, but we do refer people because we know what the community looks like. We know the accountants. I mean, our community has become enough to the point that we have accountants, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have, people in just about every.
That's a true network.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
somebody
true
new
network that
comes in
can
the
help.
community and you're like, here's where you go to the doctor. Here's where you get whatever documentation you need. This is
Right.
All you got to
that's
do is
awesome.
go to 318latino.com.
That is a great way to end it. You're
love it.
absolutely right. Go there.
318latino.com. That's your spot.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you, man.
All right. Perfect.
Thank you, Brian.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.